Oh, it's so cold in Seoul these days. Oh, too cold to go outside. If only, if only there was something I could do inside and I don't have to go outside in the cold. Ah, what can I do inside when it's cold outside? Something cultural and traditional. Kimchi. That's right. Today we're Kimjang. We're doing some kimchi making. This is probably one of the most cultural things you could do here is making kimchi in the fall slash winter season. And just as a show, you have got my big old lettuce cabbage here. We have about 8 to 12 kilos of cabbage, and we're gonna be taking all of this cabbage and turning it into kimchi today. That's right, we're making kimchi. I'm very excited to kind of show you guys the process of making kimchi. I'm just doing it in my home, by the way. We're not going out anywhere, obviously. I have the cabbage here. And I'm looking forward to showing you guys the step-by-step process of how I make kimchi. I made it last year, but this year I'm going to follow a slightly different recipe. The base of the recipe, I follow Mangchi, of course. I will include a link below this time if you guys want to check out her YouTube on how to make it. There's two things that I'm changing. One, I am putting a metric buttload of garlic. Okay, there's going to be so much garlic in this kimchi. There's just going to be a lot. And number two, I'm not going to use fish sauce or the little baby shrimp that they use. I'm not doing that. The smell is awful. I already did it last year and I hated it. So I'm going to be using a different kind of broth. Today I'm using a bit of an unorthodox broth to make the kimchi. Now, making kimchi is pretty straightforward. It's just a bit time inclusive when you have this much lettuce. It's mostly the chopping and all of that. But when you get to the mixing part, that part is pretty straightforward. It just consists of a couple of ingredients, namely the broth, as well as the base where the kimchi is going to get most of its flavor, and the gochugaru, which gives it that spiciness or redness that most people know it as. Of course, you can go without gochugaru and make it not spicy kimchi. That's totally fine. As well as a rice flour to kind of to making that broth thicker, to like a paste basically, to be applied to the kimchi itself with all the ingredients. Now I'm going to go ahead and start making the kimchi. So without further ado, let's go into the kitchen and show you what we got. Yo, welcome to the kitchen. It's a bit of a tight space. I would give a tour, but that's pretty much the whole kitchen, this whole little section we got going on over here. So I do apologize for that. Anywho, let's go ahead and kind of get down over here. Okay, so we're going with the basics. I'm going to speed through the cutting process a little bit. So you'll see me chop a little bit, but then you'll see the carrots in a bag or something, because otherwise the video is going to be way too long. So I just want to go over the basic of how you're going to be chopping your carrots and all of that. So you got your carrots, got your radish, and then we got a couple other things to chop. We got our ginger over here. And then I got the garlic as well, but the garlic is in the fridge right now because it is a lot. Like I said, it is a huge amount of garlic. So, and that's going to just get blended. It's not even going to get really necessarily chopped. It's just going to get blended. Now, when I do my carrots, or when I cut my carrots, I don't really actually ever peel them unless they're particularly dirty, because on the skin is where you get a lot of that nutrient. So I don't typically cut off the skin of the carrots usually. But anyway, you kind of want to cut your carrots at a bit of an angle so you get more of a oval shape out of them, Let me give you kind of like that, bit of an oval shape. And then you want to just cut them into like a little sticks, basically. Little tiny, as thin as you can get them without being too thin. I know that doesn't make sense, but you don't have to be really like almost French fry like. You don't have to be too particular about it, so long as they're not super thick. But I guess each their own. Like for me, it doesn't really matter too much when I'm making the kimchi. I don't really care because it's my kimchi. So I'm going to cut the carrots however I want to, and I'm not going to really care if they're too thin or too thick. But anyways, if you want to try to make this like the perfect route, then you do want to make them as thin as possible, basically. And these are some big boy thick carrots, so they do take a bit of an effort to cut through, because my knife is not very good. There we go. Cut that out. Anyway, I'm going to chop up these carrots into little strips, put them in a bowl, put them in a bag, and then we're going to move on to the, to the radish. So I'll see you guys in a little bit once those are all chopped up. All right, we're back. We have the carrots chopped up. They're just kind of sitting in the bag. Now, unlike with the carrots, I will peel the radish. Now, this kind of radish is it's just a large radish. I believe in America you can call it as a daikon radish. But yeah, it's just a very large radish. Because it is also radish season here, so you can find all kinds of marts selling big, huge, like truckloads of radish. But not only is it like, I guess, radish season, but it's also because everyone around this time is making kimchi. So yeah, like you'll find this pretty much everywhere in Korea around this time. Just big, huge pieces of radish for people making kimchi or whatnot. And then I'll probably just cut that part off. But yeah. All right, so we have all our radishes peeled, all the unsavory parts cut up, and we're basically doing the same thing as we did with the carrot, which is just chop it up into as fine as a slice as possible. This one, I think you can, it's better to go in the diagonal route as well, but I'm just going to cut this one into circles because I'm a little lazy and I want to just kind of do my own thing with this. Now, again, with the kimchi, I mean, it's mostly about the cabbage. So honestly, you could pretty much cut out the radish or the carrots if you really wanted to. It's not something you need to put in there. So if you just want to focus on the cabbage and not include all these other things in here, you can totally do that. That's fine. That's the best part about making kimchi is like you make it your own style. You make it whatever you want it to be. So every region, including in North Korea, has their own version of making kimchi. So you do whatever you want. Okay. All right, my big radish over here. Okay. All right, we have the radish done. Everything is packed up in a bag. Now we just got this this ginger. I freshly washed this one. I also don't peel ginger, not just for the health benefits, but also peeling ginger is one of the most annoying possible things you can do. But the thing with the ginger, though, is that you don't actually need to cut this one into really fine pieces or anything. Because just like with the garlic, this one is going to get blended. I am going to blend the ginger, so I want to give it just a rough chop to kind of help my my blender a bit. And then once that is all blended, we'll move on to the garlic. So besides the garlic, the last thing we have to chop is the lettuce, and the lettuce is going to be the big boy. That's the one. See you guys in a little bit once I have all this blended up and I got the garlic set out. All right, we're back. Just to kind of give you guys an idea, right? Garlic doesn't have to be super crazy blended, just chopped up enough. It just needs to be, not a noticeable size. Now, y'all thought I was kidding with the metric button, all right? Here's 2 bags, another bag, another bag, another bag, 2 more bags, 2 more bags, and 1 more bag of garlic. Now again, all of this is getting blended. So yeah, I probably will subtract 1 bag out of all of this, but all right, let's kind of get it all started up and get to blending. Now, to be honest, I might have underestimated the amount of garlic I'd get after I started blending it. Honestly, I think now I have enough garlic. I think the 2 bags that I have left might have been too much. So I'm going to go ahead and find a way to store this now. Put this aside, and then we're going to move on to our lettuce. And that's pretty much it for now. Because once we chop our lettuce, we're going to let that sit for 2 hours. All right, that's 2 hours where we're going to just let it sit and salt and water. So I'm going to go ahead, put this aside, chop up the lettuce, and then walk you guys through the process. So I'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, so we have our lovely cabbage here. Big boy cabbage. So what we're going to do is we're just going to peel out the outer layers here, give it a wash, and then chop it up into smaller pieces. All right, as I was saying, we're going to just take out these outer layers, kind of just give them a toss. Who cares? Because we just want to take and have the good stuff, basically. There we go. I'm just going to remove this whole outer layer. There we go. Toss that aside. And then wash this. And yeah, cut this up into smaller pieces and toss it aside. So that way we can soak it later. Also, we're gonna, once we cut it in half, we're gonna give it another wash just in case there's anything inside as well. Yeah. Kind of give it a wash in between the leaves as well. Now, when you're cutting kimchi, you just want it to like maybe about that size. Nothing too fancy. And again, it might look like I'm throwing my kimchi on the floor. No, I do have a box down here to throw my kimchi down. So please do not think that I'm just throwing my kimchi on the ground, or my cabbage, I should say. Now, I was going to say there are 2 ways to make this. There's the tongbechu, which is what I made last year, which is the whole cabbage, basically. And I decided I didn't want to do the whole cabbage this year, because doing the whole cabbage is a bit annoying in terms of like getting it to soak and salt, basically. because I don't have the space to do it. Yeah, this might take just a little bit more time to chop up and all of that, but in the end, it'll be a lot easier to salt and sit for 2 hours because I can just put it in these tubs that I have. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut up all the other cabbages and then let them sit, and I'll show you how that looks in just a sec. So let me go ahead and montage this cutting session for a little bit, and see you guys in a little bit. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're kind of in a different area. We're not in the kitchen anymore, but the reason I'm on the floor is because this is the best place. Oh, my light turned on. This is the best place to be able to do the salting and the watering, essentially, cabbage. Now, they recommend about, if you're doing a normal amount, it's about 3 pounds, 9 tablespoons. I don't have 3 pounds. I have way more than 3 pounds, obviously. So I cannot give you an exact measurement. I never really ever measure when I'm doing any kind of seasoning. So I kind of just go by eye and think, oh, okay, that might be good enough or something like that. So I'll go with a couple handfuls. You do want a decent amount of salt, to be honest. You do want a decent amount of salt because the thing is, these need to be salted and sit in the salt mixture as well as some water mixture for quite some time, for about 2 hours. And then it's usually about 1 cup of water. Again, since I don't have the exact measurements, I'm just gonna kind of go till it's filled enough, till about a good amount of the lettuce, or the cabbage I should say, is covered with water. I am using a bottled water. It doesn't matter what water you use. This is just easier for me to use than getting a cup of water or whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much. And then we're gonna let this mixture sit for 2 hours. And every 30 minutes, kind of just give it a toss. You know, just as I'm doing right now. Just give it a nice little toss. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna go over the sauce in a little bit. But about an hour or so in, we're gonna go ahead and make the sauce for this, and then we're done. The sauce is also going to take a little bit of time, but not that much. It's honestly the longest amount of time is the 2 hours spent for the kimchi to kind of sit in the water, basically water salt mixture. That's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in about 2 hours. Yo, welcome back, everybody. We're back in the kitchen, and we're getting ready to make this glutinous rice stock broth that we need to make to form a paste for the kimchi. Now I've got over here glutinous rice powder, or chapsal garu, as you can see there, right? Glutinous rice powder. Now we're going to basically use this powder and mix with the stock that we have. Now, normally, as I said, when you make this, the usual way is that you're mixing water with this, just water. And then later you're adding in fish sauce and these like little tiny baby shrimp that is mixed into this. Now, in this little pot here that I've been letting sit, I'm going a little crazy with this. Let me bring you over. It might be a little hard to see, but this is actually a stock of chicken powder or bouillon with a little bit of soy sauce. I figured to get the kind of like deep, rich flavor that we can get using the kind of fish broth, I needed something else. Now, you can go vegetarian, which I believe is chaeshik kimchi. You can go completely vegetarian with this and do a vegetable broth, basically, and you're going with the same method. And you can also add some soy sauce if you want, or just go pure vegetable broth. I have never heard of anyone using bouillon before, chicken broth, so I might be the first one who's done it. I don't know. I don't know if any other company has ever done chicken broth in basically their kimchi thing, or to make for their kimchi. So let's just go ahead and heat this up again. We're going to put this at a medium medium to low heat, and then we're gonna add our rice powder to this. Now, as you can see, I have a very, very large bowl, and that's because I wanted enough. I wanted enough broth, or I wanted enough of this paste, essentially, to slather on the amount of kimchi that we have. So, and the thing is, you can add this powder as you go. You don't have to like get it all in at once. Just add a decent amount to the broth that you got over here, and then yeah, just kind of stir it in. Make sure everything gets mixed around, no clumps or anything like that. It'll when you get it in there, it'll mix evenly. The thing with rice flour is that it actually does a pretty good job of like not making too many clumps, but you want to kind of just mash that all out until you get a nice, basically we're going to get a paste out of this. So we're just going to kind of stir this and mix this around until we get a nice paste. So, yo, welcome back again. So it's been about 2 hours or so. This is significantly cooled off, so we can go ahead and use this. But first, we gotta wash all of this cabbage that we've just been kind of sitting in this salt mixture. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump all that out. First one. Kind of dump all this cabbage in here and give it a nice rinse. Right. Okay, and we're going to rinse and repeat with the other tubs I have. You can also notice that when you kind of get when you let that cabbage sit in the salt mixture for a while, the cabbage has become quite smaller, a bit crunchier maybe, and almost rubbery. That's a good sign. That means the salting process went well. And yeah, we can move on to our next thing, which is essentially the sauce, the kimchi sauce. So, okay, let's make our sauce. So remember all that grating and all that cutting that we did? We're just gonna throw it all in there. Very simple. Kind of get all that stuff in there. That was the ginger. Now we're gonna say hello to our good friend, Mr. Garlic. Oh my God. I don't even know that I have this is big enough size. Ooh. But let me go ahead and add the gochugaru now, because I'm afraid that if I add more garlic right now, it might actually be too much. Ooh. Because we also still have our vegetables. But the vegetables, we don't have to add into this mixture. So with the vegetables that we cut up, the carrots and the radish and all of that, we can go ahead and just add that to the mixture in our little pots. But more importantly, we do need to mix this gochugaru in there. And I want to make a pretty spicy kimchi, so I'm going to add a lot in there. I added probably 4 or 5 cups maybe worth. Now this is the point where you don't need this if you don't really want it. You really don't need to add gochugaru if you don't want to add gochugaru or red hot chili pepper flakes. But we want to make sure that gets mixed in. Might have been too much garlic. Let me get my sugar. This is the only thing I kind of measure out because we don't want this to be sweet, all right? We don't want this to be sweet. We just need a bit of sugar. A couple tablespoons. If you're using the mixture I'm using, just a couple tablespoons will do it. Sorry, teaspoons, not tablespoons. I might need to add more gochugaru. Let me bring you guys over so you can see what I'm dealing with. It almost looks like a tomato sauce. A tomato sauce with garlic. But that's kind of what I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for this absolute insane amount of garlic for my kimchi. All right, so I'm gonna move down to where we were earlier when we were salting the cabbage. I'll see you guys in just a little bit. All right, guys, here we go. We got our lettuce, our cabbage here. I've got the sauce to the side. Worked out conveniently. I've got 2 bags of each of the carrots and the radish. So 1 bag for each, or 2 bags for each, basically. Just gonna dump the carrots in there. Dump the carrots into the other one. Dump the radish. And dump the radish into the other one. I think for this box, I might actually transfer it to my big bowl. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, so I have my big blue bowl. I got my gloves on. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to be mixing any of this kind of sauce with your bare hands. It's going to be a bad time for your hands. And all we do now is simply put our sauce with our ingredients. And that's where the rest of this is going to go. So let me just slop in a bunch of this in here. I should have enough for both. That's why I made a lot. I don't want any of this sauce left over, essentially. I want all this to go in here. Whew. And then once we're done making the sauce, you're ready to eat. All right, let me mix up this one that we got over here in this box. Really want to get every nook and cranny of well, of your vegetables, for the most part, yeah. Because the sauces was going to help ferment the kimchi as well. So I can see already that, like, even with all the sauce in there, it's still not enough. There's still a lot of room for more sauce. Which is why I went with the metric big, huge amount that I did this time. I think the main reason I like to make kimchi in the fall, you can make kimchi at any time of the year, to be honest. There doesn't have to be a specific time. But in Korea, they sell a lot of the cabbage and the radish at this time of year. So it is the best time. But also, my fridge is very tiny. It cannot accommodate the sheer size of the kimchi boxes that I have. There's another cord that I don't need. So I can just leave my kimchi outside in the boxes. I also have an ongi, which I may or may not use. And because it gets so cold, I can actually leave my kimchi just outside. I don't need to put it in a fridge or anything because the outside temperature is cold enough for the kimchi to basically ferment and not go bad. Obviously, the way that the fermentation works is that if you want your kimchi to ferment faster, you can leave it out in a warmer temperature, and it'll take about 2 or 3 days to ferment and be ready to eat. And the fermentation process will keep going. The process will keep going. It'll never stop. However, if you want to keep eating that kimchi, you do need to put it in a cold temperature. And when you put it in a cold temperature, the fermentation process actually takes a longer time. So if you want to have a fresh kimchi, as opposed to a fermented kimchi, then you just need to keep it at a cold temperature at the beginning, at the start. You don't need to put it in somewhere warm if that's not what you're looking for. See, there's a couple pieces that straggled and did not get thoroughly sauced. That's why we have to thoroughly mix everything. Make sure everything gets sauced and joins the sauce party. Look at that. I think it's mixed enough. You can go ahead and give it a try. Oh, I'm not a big fan of the harder pieces. I like the leafy. Let me get a leafy piece. Oh man, this is really good. I'm really happy with myself. I'm really happy that this recipe turned so way that it did. I feel like I've accomplished what I wanted to do today. I set forth with a crazy idea of testing the bounds of kimchi. Not only did I not use fish, all right, I could have gone the vegetarian route. I used a soy sauce chicken-based broth. Also, I wanted to attempt to make Myeongdong style kimchi. Now, I accomplished flavor-wise exactly everything I hoped for. Now, I guess my only problem is I feel like it's still not enough sauce. It tastes great, don't get me wrong. This kimchi tastes phenomenal. But I feel like maybe after a day of fermenting, this will actually taste much better. But look at that, guys. No vampires can touch me for the rest of eternity. That's how much garlic is going to be permeating my body after all of this. But yeah, look at that. I am incredibly happy with how good it tastes, to be honest. This experiment has been very favorable. This has been a really good time. Now, obviously, when you're done fermenting, when you're done mixing it, put it in some kind of storage safe container. I have these big boxes, and you want to push the air out as much as you can when you are when you put it in there. You want to just really pack it in there, get rid of all and any air that could possibly come in. And then even when you take out any kimchi, you want to make sure you push the air out once more every time you take out the kimchi when you want to enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that kimjang. This was a great time. It was a very long process. I hope you guys liked the fruits of my labor, or the kimchi of my labor. This was a good time. All right, just so you guys can see, that is the finished product. There's the kimchi. They will be boxed up and put outside for further eating and enjoyment for me and anybody else who wants some. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't know if this has been a quick video, but it's been a long day for me, so a long video for me. Hopefully, maybe my recipe might inspire some of you to make your own kimchi and maybe even think about trying kimchi in general if you've never tried it. I highly recommend it. Kimchi is so good. It's so good for you, and it's a Korean staple. It's a must. It's a must try and must eat. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, if you like these videos, you like what I do, please like and subscribe. That really helps me a lot. That tells me that you guys enjoy what I'm doing, and I look forward to showing you the next awesome thing about Korea or Seoul in general. So until then, think kimchi, dream kimchi, kimchi mogul. Bye.